And another episode has been done. Today we had on Adrian from Alpha Neon Supplements and Darkside Gym. One of the best gym owners, owns one of the most phenomenal supplementation companies and clothing brands in the industry. Let's give this one a listen. Phenomenal human being. Let's go. So, Adrian, Alpha Neon, welcome to the D1 podcast.
Cheers, brother. Thanks, bro.
What do Alpha Neon do?
We do
In a nutshell.
supplements, clothing, and have a hardcore gym. That's big.
A hardcore gym called
Darkside Gym.
So the gym, one of the best gyms in the country, I would say.
I don't know about that. I think it is a lot of work to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not at all satisfied with where we're at with it at the moment. It's just a complete fucking mess. Just because revamping one of the rooms, trying to make it better for the customers, bringing in a lot more kit and stuff like that. But it's just obviously I like you guys. I like the old school kits, Strive and all this Gen 1, Gen 2 stuff like that, and try and kind of keep them in the ethos really, and not to get them lost.
Yeah.
Because I think there's a lot of good, new companies coming through, but I think sometimes the gym will open up, and you've probably seen this yourself, and it's just they're using one kit and that's it.
Yeah.
And that's obviously, look, I understand that it's a business perspective, because you get a good deal on it and it's great, but not every kit company does everything right.
Yeah.
They might have 4 or 5 pieces that are gold pieces and the rest are dog shit.
Yeah.
And vice versa. And it's just like, that's what I think if we try and select for what we're doing and try and make it more, I want it to be kind of a clean, hardcore gym. Like I look up to you guys, what you guys have done here. You still have that hardcore vibe, the community vibe, but you're here to train, and it's not like everything's a fucking mess. You know what I mean? Because sometimes people see hardcore with spit and sawdust and these blood on the floor and blood on the walls, and people are about to die at any second. It's like, well, that doesn't necessarily need to be the case. You need to have a switch. You need to turn it on. You need to learn how to train, but also have a laugh. So I think people nowadays take this industry so fucking serious.
Badly, yeah.
And it's like, dude, it's not that fucking deep. You're lifting weights and eating chicken breast. You're not curing cancer. You take a step back, learn to have a laugh. If you can't turn it on in between sets and you need to come in and, put your head through a fucking wall to lift 300 kilos, then you need to go and have a chat with them.
Yeah.
So
I always think a gym is like a reflection of the owner. So like, obviously we're in the gym now. It's not a gym podcast, but we're in the gym now. And both of us being gym owners is essentially going to become a gym podcast. But I always think the gym is a reflection of the owner. So I always try and put what's in my head on a day-to-day on the walls, around the environment. Your gym I haven't been to yet, but we're definitely going to come to it. But but everything, even about like the Alpha Neon brand, like Darkside, everything you've named it, Darkside, Ultimate Hydrogenate, everything's so funky. It's a massive reflection of you. And even like, for example, the dog. So what's the name of your dog?
Akuma and
Luna. Like they're all the way through your branding. They're all the way through your gym. They float around your gym. And from what we hear about your gym, it is very much what a gym should be about. Like you're saying, hand-selected equipment, which is the best of that brand. So like, for example, we've got a bit of Gymloco stuff, a little bit of Strive, a little bit of Prime. 3 of the Gymloco pieces, well, we've probably bought a 7 or 8 piece of Gymloco. I'm not going to slaughter the brand, but out of the 7 or 8 that we've got, we've only got 3 left. Because like you're saying, some of them are shit. Matrix, for example, we're never going to have a Matrix machine in our gym.
I do like their step mills.
Their step mills.
Yeah, their step mills are actually really good. I'll give them work.
Anything for building, there's a reason why they're in pure gym, that's why, because it's cheap stuff, just running them on, they just knock it out. So the gym is one thing, but the main thing with you is you're a absolute no filter guy.
No, it's not good.
You don't give a absolute shit about nothing. But you're also a very professional guy.
I try to be. I don't think it's professional. I think it's just like treat others how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
So I'll give everybody a level of respect. Everyone starts off the same. It's when you cross that line. Like back in the day, like I'm 43 now. So like back in the day, I would tolerate zero shit. Like I'd be like, let's just go outside and let's fucking have it. Which is immature, but it also was kind of the way I was raised. Like my dad was a high level boxer. My mother was a tough woman. It's just like, it was like the attitude was, if someone punches you in the face, you take a baseball bat and you rip their fucking shoulder off. And it's not for them, it's for everyone else around you. So they understand you have to be respected. And that was the way I was raised. I was raised by very, I guess, man-centric. I grew up, my grandparents owned a hotel. I grew up hunting, fishing, very like boy centric, and I loved my life. I had an amazing life. My mother and father were amazing to me, and my grandparents too. So I couldn't have asked for anything better. We grew up by the beach. We'd surfed. I took a boxing at an early age to teach me discipline. And that was just the way that it was. And it was like, if you back chat, you got slapped in the face, but it wasn't like, I don't think my father ever hit me. Like in the ring, he beat the shit out of me, but it was training me to fight. But outside of it, never. I can barely remember him hitting me once. If we ever had discussions or disagreements, there was box gloves there, and went and had it out.
So, is that the Irish mentality?
I don't know, because like I'm not any other culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think it was just that was the way it was. You just have respect for your parents. Like if I back chatted my mother today, she'd still give out to me. She'd still slap me in the face and tell me.
At 43, yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, and so I have the utmost respect for that, because you respect your elders.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and don't get me wrong, sometimes they can be wrong, and I would just get up and walk away. Like, I wouldn't engage in it because of the respect I had for those people. Because at the end of the day, they put a roof over my head, they put food in my mouth and clothing on my back. And I think a lot of that is lost nowadays, where people are told they can be anything, and it's like, no, you can't. I can't be Shaquille O'Neal. I can't be this, I can't be that. And I think there's no, I guess, semblance in just being yourself and trying to be the best version of you, as cheesy as that sounds. And I think I try and, the younger guys in there, is to have respect for each other. If you have an issue and you want to deal with it, yeah, like if you want to put on a pair of boxing gloves, go do it. But like, they have this mentality that they can talk to each other online and all this stuff, and there's no repercussions. And for half the time, there's not. We live in a society where there's no repercussions, or then they go overboard and there's massive repercussions over nothing. Do you know what I mean? So, it's a totally different like lifestyle that I think younger people have. But like a lot of the guys, especially, I suppose the kids, I'd call them, in the gym, the 2019 to 21, 22-year-olds, they've gravitated towards a lot of stuff, because I'm like, look, if you train hard, if you work hard, it doesn't matter if you're never going to be Mr. Olympia. It doesn't matter if you're never going to compete. It doesn't matter if you're there to lose 5 pounds, gain 10 pounds, whatever it is. If you're able to do that, you're able to transport that into other aspects of your life and be successful at that. Like, not everybody's going to be Ronnie fucking Coleman. Do you know what I mean? It's just, that's the reality of it. Even if you, did everything. Like, it was like, I had a kid in a while ago, and, he's like, oh, I want to be, classic Mr. Olympia. I was like, okay, cool. So did a bit of pose and whatever, and I was like, you know what I mean? I thought he was natural. I really, really did. And I said, so how long you train? He's like, last 3 years. Good, like, yeah, decent muscle. I said, maybe, head down the natural bodybuilding route for now, so you get on. He goes, oh no, I'm not natural. I haven't been natural for 2 years. No, what? And I was like, really? Because to me, he looked natural. Like he didn't look, there was nothing there. And I was like, fucking hell. And then he told me what he was on, and like, I was like, holy fucking shit, dude. I was like, dude, you want to ease up, man.
Yeah.
And number one, and then he goes, well, what do you think? I said, mate, I'll be honest with you, I think you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
And it was almost like he said to me, oh, you're kind of, how did he put it? You're almost like shitting on my dreams. And I was
like, you're bursting his bubble. Yeah.
And I was like, mate, what dreams, bro? Like, dude, you do realize, like, the steroids were never invented, these guys would still be cream of the crop, because A, they have the genetics, and B, they have the dedication. And those two things go hand in hand, and the drive to believe in themselves over everybody else. And I understand you believe in yourself, but I said, look at me, let's put it this way. If you trained like Ronaldo, ate like Ronaldo, fucking got a facelift to look like Ronaldo, did every single thing, dated his ex-girlfriend, did every single thing to be Ronaldo, would you be Ronaldo? He went, no. And I said, well, what do you think you're going to be, like Ramon Dino or fucking Mike Summerfield or Chris Bumstead? How do you believe, Breon Hansi, any of these guys? Like, how do you, like, where does this disillusion? And that's really what it is a lot of nowadays. And like, I think sometimes I understand coaches have to make money. And if somebody comes to me and says, I want to get on stage, I'll be like, okay, but you might do well, you mightn't do very well, but I'll always be honest with them. But it's almost like I'm disappointing them, that I have some secret to give them. I have nothing.
Yeah.
Genetics are 99.9% of it. Do you know? It really, really is. Well, maybe not, but like genetics and drive.
Yeah.
Because we've all seen these guys. We've trained one, and they do biceps twice a week, chest twice a week, and they're like 300. And they don't care. Like, they eat Pringles, and they don't care, and they look like freaks. And it's just those outliers exist. Now, if they had the dedication to do everything that this kid wanted to do, they would be like 3 times the size.
Yeah.
And it's like, its genetics are a big proponent.
Mm.
You know, but it's like in every single sport I see with bodybuilding, it's like, all right, well, because we openly talk about all of this stuff, that we sometimes have the secret key and we can talk about it. It's like, no, cream always rises to the top. So does shit, but shit will eventually sink.
Yeah.
And it's like, how much issues are you putting on your physical system just to be mediocre?
Yeah.
You're taking your body from a 3 to a 5.
Mm.
And like, you know, I think people do whatever you want. Like, it's your body. Like, do whatever you want. But like, there is a point in diminishing returns where you will go, oh fuck, what did I do?
There's a lot now, like of younger lads who, I think a lot of the old school lot, what they did was they all went down the natural route first in bodybuilding.
100%.
They maximized the natural route. And I'm by no means like as educated as you in the bodybuilding thing, but from what I see as a gym owner, they all then all of a sudden I want to jump on gear. And then the people that have exhausted the natural side of it, then they go on to, okay, they'll make a good physique, not an Olympian physique, because obviously that's a different standard, like you're saying, cream rises to the top, but they'll make something of themselves. They'll become a pro or they'll do something. A lot of the kids now, what I'm seeing is they'll train for 6 months, and the question is, how do we get gear? And I'm like, well, one, I'm not the right person for you to ask because I don't do it, and two, you know, like what you're asking is you're asking the right question, but you're asking it 5 years too early.
Yeah, what I usually do is I go, okay, come have a training session with me.
Yeah,
And I'll bury the cunt.
yeah,
I'll literally bury the cunt. I'll do
Yeah.
legs on her back, I'll bury the fucking cunt.
Yeah.
And the main reason for that is because now you'll see, can you actually train?
Yeah.
Can you do one thing right?
yeah, amazing. Yeah,
Or then they'll go, oh, I eat a lot. What's a lot?
Mm.
You know, they're not counting calories, they're not counting meals, they're not counting anything. It's like they're putting a finger in a dam and hoping it'll work.
yeah,
And that's what it all is. And look, I can't blame them because they're bombarded with images on TikTok, on Instagram,
yeah.
of like, you know, nowadays, unless you have like 12 Ferraris, a mansion, a
Yeah, but
12 inch,
yeah.
12-inch dick, and you're 6'5" and 290 pounds ripped, you're a loser.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'm bombarded with that from fucking 13 years onwards, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And like, kids aren't allowed to be kids anymore.
Mm.
Do you know, like when I was a kid, like you would phone your mates on the landline,
Yeah,
and you'd be like, dude, I'll meet you at the field at 10 in the morning. If you
Yeah.
didn't turn up in the field, guess what? You went there, everyone had fucked off.
yeah,
Do you know what I mean? And there's no way getting in contact with them
Yeah.
because they could have gone to one field or the other field, or they could have gone surfing, or they could have gone swimming, or
and yeah,
you might go around the houses to find out where everybody was. But like, they'd be like, oh, he's late again. You know what I mean? Oh, you're on Spanish time, bro. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and it's like, that was the way it was, you know? So there was a lot more accountability for things. And I think it was a much more innocent time,
way more
you
innocent.
know? And I enjoyed that.
I honestly think, like you just touched on something a minute ago. I think social media just fucked everything up.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh, yeah.
can go on social media, like you said, and just see a guy with 12 Ferraris, and all of a sudden you don't understand that they're rented. You don't understand he's probably got 12 of his mates to park them all up just he's taking a picture. But in your head, he believes it. Like your head, he owns it. So it's like that Andrew Tate culture.
Mhm.
So they all think now that to be successful, you got to do it, but that don't exist. It's like you're saying, like it's attainable 100%. But is everyone going to get that? No. You'll be lucky if you get one of them, let alone 12 of them.
But you're only going to hear about the success stories. You know, you've got like guys now, everybody wants to have a car channel rebuilding cars.
Yeah.
Because they see Matt Armstrong.
Matt
do
Armstrong,
something.
yeah.
Like, yeah, look, the guy hit it. He's a very affable guy. He's easy to listen to.
Yeah.
And he's smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he was turning over houses before, you know, not turning, sorry, that sounds like robbing a house, but I mean, he was leasing, rebuilding houses, doing all that stuff before he even started that.
Okay.
The guy was successful in his own right. He wasn't a stupid guy.
Yeah.
So, like, he had the business acumen. He's probably ADHD'd off his face, and when he gets stuck into something like I do, like, that's his be all and end all. And I'm not comparing myself to him because his success, he's here, I'm under the table. But my point is, you can learn from those people and take things. But I think when you're a bit more immature, like the Andrew Tate thing, look, there's certain things that he says can be very valuable to a younger man.
Yeah.
But then there's some things that are very corrosive.
Simple.
Do you know what I mean? But like, how do you disseminate them if say your father's left, or you're not being raised by your dad, he's at work, maybe he's working his ass off, maybe he's being a great provider, but he's not around, and your mother's doing the same. Because nowadays, you know, I think there was a statistic I read last day, like from, I think it was 1989 to 1992 or something like that. If your parents took home 40 grand, you would have to take the equivalent of 180,000 pounds home today to have the same lifestyle. That's insanity.
Yeah.
Now 180 grand after tax. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like, if you look at the pressure that are on parents to provide for kids nowadays, that's insane. And like, if you're growing up around that, like, you're going to gravitate towards things to influence you, and sometimes that's a negative way and sometimes it's a positive way, or sometimes it's 50-50.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, how do you as a younger person then disseminate that value into, all right, this is good and this is bad, because you're given no boundaries.
Yeah.
And if you know, I see it myself, you know, some of my friends with young kids, they're on a phone from when they're 3 or 4. I'm like, why are you giving them that trash? You know, why don't they just go out and play? Oh, it's too dangerous. Yeah, but all these things existed when we were kids.
Yeah.
You just kind of knew, like, oh, the house down the road, don't go near that
Don't go.
house.
Yeah. Don't go. Because that guy might be a weirdo.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Exactly that.
You know what I mean? Like, and if you go in her garden, she'll shoot you. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, it's just like those are the, and you knew it. And sometimes you'd run up and you'd knock on the window and you'd run away. You know, you do stupid shit because he's a rebel. You know what I mean? I'd be like pedaling your bike, the adrenaline going. You know, but there was, you know, we all knew where these things were.
Yeah.
And I'm sure as a kid nowadays, you know, right, I can't really go near that park. I can't really go near that. We can still go out and do stuff.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like this whole fear monger and all, let's wrap our kids in bubble wrap, you know, and even, you know, I see them with all these like disinfectant wipes. The kid gets a bit of, I'll have to change his clothes.
I know.
I'm like, dude, how is he going to get an immune system?
I know. It's have you got kids?
No, thank God.
Yeah. So I've got So I've got 2.
Yeah.
And my parenting style is totally different. It's exactly like what you're saying. If all of that, figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, you got arms to push yourself back up. But you see other people parent, and it is so, I can't question their parent style because that's the way they do it.
100%.
But it's very much like, I remember my son fell over on sports day, and my initial reaction was just to sit back and just see what he does. Started crying. Another parent come up and picked him up, which I was grateful for, because at least she, you know, she wanted to help him up. She didn't want to go through it. Spoke to him later on in the day. I was like, why did you cry? And then he goes, because I just wanted to win, Dad. And I was like, good, but at least you had the right thing right behind you. You wanted to win the race. It didn't happen. You know, shit happens in life. It's one of them.
100%.
That's where I think influencers online, like, and bodybuilding influencers have got a set part to play in as well, but just influence in general, they've got to make it more real.
Yeah.
Like people with clout online, not the people that got a couple of thousand followers, like the people with clout that have actually got something. They got to say, look, you know, it's maybe this person's not what you think he is. And so one of them needs to come out and say, okay, cool. Do you know what? He's got a million people online, like yourself. That's why I genuinely love you, because every time I speak to you, it's just a no filter. Like, you're respected massively, but you're respected because you just say it how it is.
Yeah.
If I'm a cunt, you're going to tell me you're a cunt.
Yeah.
That's what you'll say.
Yeah, but it's not to be harsh. Like, the thing is, I don't think I'm loved. Like, I think there's a lot of people talk a lot of shit, and sometimes some of those people will be held accountable fairly soon.
Yeah.
Like, because, you know, you hear things back. Like, I'm more of a, as I've got older, and probably, I don't know, yourself, as you just mature a bit older, like, things don't bother me as much.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, sometimes I see things as war. Like, and, you know, certain people have said, look, don't go doing that. Just fucking leave it, mate. And as I've got older, like, I don't really give too much of a, I can curse in this kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really give two fucks what people think. Like, if you don't like me, that's a fucking you problem.
Yeah.
Like, the thing is, I'll never badmouth anyone online.
Yeah.
You'll never hear me trashing anybody's brands. You'll never, even though there's people I really don't like in the industry, I think they're little fucking rats. They talk a lot of shit and they should shut their fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Because eventually you're going to be held accountable by someone.
Yeah.
Because I think people think they can get away with it. Again, I think it's a very immature attitude to have. Like, I will, even if I don't like somebody's brand and you ask me about it, I'll be like, yeah, it's fine. Fair play, is doing well.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing is, if I waste my energy and my time looking what everybody else does, that's energy I've just wasted. I could put into something I can do myself.
Yeah.
And be positive. And like, I try my best to be as positive as I can, because in this industry, you know yourself, there's so many people, oh, fuck that guy, fuck this guy, you know? And where did he do this? I bet he does this, and I bet, you know what I mean? It's like, they just speculate.
You get accused of everything.
Yeah. Whereas, like, if someone is, even if I don't like someone and they're doing better than me, I go, how did he do that?
Yeah.
I don't go, fuck the guy.
Yeah.
He's a cunt. You know, it's just never really been my attitude. And that's one thing sometimes I hate about Irish culture. And I've seen it before when I was doing really well with something and someone seen I had a really nice car, you know, a Lambo or some shit. And they were just like, that won't last forever. Yeah. And I'd be the first guy, if somebody got that, how'd you do that?
How'd you do that?
How do I get one then?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, or can I utilize your business practices to evolve it on my own? Because those people, when you ask them, a lot of the time, they're so far ahead of you. By the time you catch up to them where they are there, they're already here. So they don't care.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care. Like, they're there and they like going, oh, well, this is how I did.
Yes.
Whereas, like, the other small-minded cunts, fuck that. And I never understood that. Or if you help someone out, I've helped several people out, and then all of a sudden they're talking shit. And I'm just like, you know, and you know, in the industry, like that's just the way it can be very, very bitchy, you know. And I just think to myself, where do you get off me?
Yeah.
Because like as I said, I've let things go more so, but like, you know, sometimes it's going to be get to the point where when I see you, mate, it's going to be on site. And it's like, and I don't want to be like that, but it's like I know the way my brain is wired. It's like, and you know, there's some people who I've thought, this maybe, and then when I saw them, like, what's the point?
I don't think that's an industry thing. I think that's a life thing. So
Okay.
like people in general, like you're saying there, it's a mindset. So when you see someone that's got something nice, your first thing is how do you get it? If anything, you're going to want to put yourself around that person to learn off
100%.
them. But a lot
100%.
of people, what they'll do is they'll zap the person's energy. So like they're like takers, if that makes sense. So
Yeah.
I've found this a lot. Like people will ask you
Energy
questions
vampires.
that literally, yeah. So they want to drain your battery fully, and then all of a sudden you're going to put a boundary in place. But when you put that boundary in place, because you'll understand it, you'll say, okay, cool. He's giving me time. I respect the time. But people that don't respect the time, then all of a sudden they're like, okay, he's put a boundary there. Why has he done that? Then now you're a villain.
Yeah.
So you're the problem. So you gave them the energy, but you're the problem because now they've got nothing to take from you. Like you hold more value in their life than they do in yours.
Yeah.
But because they hold it like that, it's very much like, oh, he's not giving us the time because he's a wanker.
Yeah.
Because you know he's the problem.
Yeah.
His energy's shit. He does this, and they'll rumor you. They'll gossip about you. Like you could, we get it all the time. Like here, you could chat to a girl, and all of a sudden you're with the girl. They won't look at
Yeah.
they won't look at the fact you're chatting to a member.
Yeah.
They'll look at the fact that he's talking to a girl. Or like, you could speak to a guy, give him 5 minutes one day, and then the next day you just shook his hand and it was like, but what, bro, we got a problem. And you're just like, "Well, there's no problem. It's just,
I have a life.
yeah, I've got
Shit
to
going on.
I've got to get home to my kids.
Yeah.
I've got to go to work or something like that. It's mad how people work like that. But like you saying that there, you won't ever understand that side of
No, I
it
can't.
because you're just giving the energy. You're constantly feeding into it. Like you're saying, like with this young lad there a second ago that wanted to do the classic bodybuilding. You're just being real with him.
Yeah.
You're not diminishing his light.
No.
You're giving him an expectation based upon your experience.
Yeah.
Because if he can't handle that, he can't handle it. But
Yeah.
what he's got to look at is, okay, this man's been in the supplement industry for best part of 10 years. You've been in the gym industry
I've been in it for 20 years, man.
Okay. Oh, of course, yeah. But we'll get onto that. We'll get onto that. But then you've been in the gym industry for how long?
Probably long. But I started training after kind of boxing. My eyesight went. I had to kind of change sports. So then I
Yeah.
went off kind of powerlifting.
But you've
Well,
been training forever.
Yeah, probably since I was 9 years of age.
Yeah.
Doing
So
something
they're
like
not looking
at
at
a
you.
decent level.
So they're not looking at your experience. They're not looking at what's up here. They're looking at, well, he doubts me. I'll fuck him.
Yeah.
Can't be like that.
And as I said to like finish the story with that kid, I said, look, man, you can have a decent physique. You're better than 99.9% of people. You walk on a beach, you'll have abs, you'll have everything. Walk down a beach, people go, I love that physique.
Yeah.
But you're just not going to be able to be competitive at that level.
Yeah.
I said, maybe you can do a couple of local shows and you might do okay. You might do top 5, top 3, whatever. And if that's your aim, that's your aim. But if you're aiming for that, and he's like, yeah, but he said, what about, Branch Warren, Dorian Yates? I was like, mate, I said, look at Branch Warren at 18 years of age. He's better than 90% of 99% of the people here. And I said, I guarantee he's probably on fuck all stuff, if even anything. Because I said, back in the day, when you went, when I was a kid, if you went above 300 milligrams of test, it was like, holy shit, that's a lot, man. I want to have a look at that. And that was the truth. People would not taking grams. If you took a gram, geez, that guy'd be an animal. You know what I mean? Now, I do believe back in the day, obviously a lot of the stuff we would get would be pharmaceutical grade, but I didn't take gear less 24, 25.
Yeah.
And I'd extinguished everything and I was competing at a really decent level. So it was like you said, I got a physique, even my natural physique. I was a bodybuilder on bodybuilding.com. I won bodybuilder of the month, bodybuilder of the year. I used to write articles, I was doing other stuff. Because I thought to myself, well, maybe I can get a pro card, but maybe I won't. So I need to I enjoy this aspect. So I have to be realistic about myself. I'm going to give myself a certain amount of time competing and then I'm done. If I don't get where I want to do, I'm done. Because I'm not going to waste my life with this and not be I still have friends who are like, oh, yeah, but it's like, dude, you're in your 40s, bro.
But you're such an interesting guy.
Go live your life.
You're so honestly, you got a mad story on everything. You're such an interesting guy. It's crazy.
But it's just the way I see life. Is you've got to give yourself, with a business, it's you have things that you want to hit.
Yeah.
So I think in life you have to do that. And like with that kid, as I said to him, is like, look, dude, you can have decent physique, look great, you know, get women, get men, whatever the fuck you're into. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I ain't your God and I ain't your mother. I ain't here
Yeah.
to judge you. Do whatever you want. But why don't you put all that extra energy maybe into your job?
Yeah.
Maybe into like, if you want to be a coach, be a coach.
Yeah.
You know, maybe educating yourself a bit better. If you don't want to go to university, whatever it is, bro. But I was like, if you put all this energy and you go all in, wait with your parents till you're 28, 29, I fucking guarantee you're not going to be on the Olympia stage. I bet my left bollock, and I like my left. Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's just not going to happen. Like, and if you want me to help you out, I'll give you free knowledge. Here's a free program. Here's a free diet. Go follow that for 6 months. If you can follow that for 6 months without ever deviating from it, I guarantee you'll grow. You'll get bigger. And half the shit you're on, come off it, because you don't fucking need it. Because you're not. Your body is mature. Like, it's like, you know, you're into cars and stuff. So it's like you don't want to like get your car and then mod the living shit out of it. Take it from 300 brake horsepower to 1,000 brake horsepower without changing the internals. Like it all gets fucked up. And it's like, it's the same thing. There's like, well, if you want to turn pro and you're taking this much, like, what are you going to do? Like double it? Because, you know, after like realistically, like 700-800 milligrams of test, nothing really fucking happens.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, there's the physiology there that people have to sometimes realize. And I think as well as that, and I'm not saying bodybuilding, I love bodybuilding. I love bodybuilding, but this weird mentality that somehow they're almost supernatural, like that their organs are better than their 80-year-old grandmas who probably work better than half of their fucking organs because they're hooning the living shit out of it. And now they like, I love the fact there's more of an emphasis on health markers and blood work and all that stuff rather than this guesswork that used to be there. And I was always mad into that because one of my mates is a sports doctor, so I was always taking blood, and people thought I was fucking stupid. But I was like, well, I can see all these markers. And then as I got older, I fucking kind of half fucked it off.
Yeah.
Which was stupid because I ended up getting Graves' disease because I didn't keep an eye on what the fuck I was doing.
Okay.
And it was nothing to do with gear or anything. Like, I literally only started TRT when I was 40. Do you know what I mean? And like like a little bit higher. Let's be honest. It was 180 milligrams. TRT is 120 to 150. But
Okay.
I was like, fuck, I'll just tune in at 100, 200 milligrams. You know what I mean?
What's the extra 30?
Yeah. Fuck it, between friends.
Yeah.
And like, you know, but my diet was shit because I was traveling a lot. I was trying to build something. I was stressed. Some days wouldn't eat right, wouldn't eat at all. And because I looked physically okay, I'm stay around 100 kilos. I think my body's just used to that. I didn't really see much of a difference. And I was like, you know, then these little things creep in and you're like, fuck, why didn't I? Because like my body always reacted great to like low carbohydrate diets, carbs around training. I have a relatively sedentary lifestyle. I don't need 1,000 grams of carbs to lift a couple of boxes and put some weights back. Do you know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah.
So why the fuck am I doing that? My body felt way, way healthier in those things. But I just went away from that. You know, you're just like, oh, you go to Tesco's, you get a meal deal, you think you broke the system because you've got 10 pounds of food for £4. You're like, this is the greatest day ever. You know what I mean? Like, it's a stupid mentality. And it's just like, you get sucked into that.
How important you reckon diet is, well, nutrition is, not just in bodybuilding, just in your body function? Because you, correct me if I'm wrong, biomedical science.
I did chemical and pharmaceutical science.
Okay. But your brain is very much geared towards as health.
Yeah, like
all the panel of your stuff is top drawer.
Yeah. Like what I try and do is
borderline best, I would say.
I can't say that because
because I see them all. I think your products are one of the best. I can't remember the term of it, but like the best formulated products that are there. We take on a lot of brands. We have brands from America. We have brands coming from Poland, like legal brands. But your panel on your ingredients is top.
Yeah, I think it comes from a place of like, I was always obsessed with the thing. You know what I mean? I was always obsessed with knowledge. And because I think I had decent genetics, but I didn't have world beater genetics. Like, I just was like, well, how can I get an edge?
Yeah.
You know, how can I make stuff better? And when I was like, obviously working with other companies in the past, like Cellucor and different things like that, and American companies, I was always big time into the formulation aspect of it. And I would give them, you know, my take on it. And like a lot of the times some of that was taken on board, which I was flattered by. But it was always just to get like, well, how does this work? How can I take a simple thing and make it great? Or like sometimes I'll over engineer a product and it's like, that's not viable. Like, that's going to be 80 quid. So I have to whittle it down. And also I want to give Ferraris at Mercedes prices.
Yeah.
That's always been my kind of ethos, as cheesy as that sounds.
Yeah.
Where you're getting a high performance thing and it's not going to absolutely break the bank.
Mm-hmm.
And if it is, I'll take the risk and say, well, look, this is expensive for these reasons. Like, I'll be honest with you, and it's not to sound like arrogant, but I don't look at other people's brands.
Yeah.
I couldn't give a fuck unless you hand it to me, or unless they're copying something I did and it's handed to me. I don't look at anybody else's stuff. And there's a reason for that. Is number one, I formulate for a lot of people behind closed doors. And number two is I don't want to be influenced by their stuff.
Yeah.
Where I read a panel and think, that's great. It'll stick in my brain because that's
Yeah.
the way it'll work. And then I'll write out and think I came up with that. No. I never want to. Like, and I've seen people, you know.
Because you're copying someone else's style then?
Yeah, and I think it's because it's stuck in your head and you think, oh, that's a clever formula. So I try never to read it. I try never to look at it because I don't want to then be influenced by what they're doing, because it's like you get in a car and you know where you're going.
Yeah.
I don't want to be going to France to go to Scotland.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So when I come up with something, I have a definitive reason why I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like Rise and Shine, for instance. That's like one of our health-based products, and it's got psyllium husk, glutamine, apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, probiotics as well, and you get the prebiotics from the psyllium husk.
Mhm.
So the whole ideology behind that was a lot of mates were taking pill products, having stomach issues. So, well, how do I make something healthy that helps with digestion first thing in the morning? Okay, well, these are all the things I would, and this is what I recommended for him to take individually. And I was like, why don't I just try and make this into a powder?
Mm.
And that's the whole ethos of that. Now, there might be other products like that on the market, but I have no clue.
Okay.
I wouldn't have a clue. You know what I mean? Until somebody shows me something and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm real glad you said that, because we do that with the gym. So people will say to us, look at this, look at this, look at this, especially when I first started. And I'd like, double tap the message and all that, but I wouldn't actually look at it.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted to have, like, people always say, why have you not got bodybuilders on the wall? I'm like, because I don't know bodybuilding.
Mm.
Biggest person that I knew when I was growing up was the Hulk.
Yeah.
He's like my idol when I was growing up. The Hulk and Arnie. Yeah. So first person we put on the wall, it was the Hulk. The next thing we put on the wall here was a lion and a wolf, because that's why they're always around. I've got an affinity to animals.
Yeah, cool.
So like now I'm seeing other gyms and other people do that, like with lions and wolves and whatever.
Mhm.
I'm just like, okay, cool. You know, that you can copy me, but I know I didn't copy you.
Yeah.
So it's like innovate. And the only way you innovate is by not looking at other people. You go through your own head. So when you're saying what you're doing, the products there, that 100% reigns true, because you're not being influenced by nobody. You're doing your products your way. And because you're doing it to the best of your ability, like I remember one thing you said to me. So when the blue light,
Yeah.
that's genius.
Yeah.
So if anyone has an alpha,
nobody really knows about that.
Yeah, but no, but okay, but can I say it?
Yeah.
But like that is absolute genius, because that will, like, so if you turn the light off and you got a blue light, you shine it over your protein labels, everyone knows it's legitimate. It's not a knockoff. It's not a fake. Because obviously you've got
we had some labels that they never came out on, so that might be always true.
Yeah.
Send us the serial codes if
Yeah,
you're worried.
yeah.
But
it's like, but it shows real, like, you haven't just designed a product and you've put it out there and thought, okay, cool, it's gonna work. The thought that's gone into it. And I think because you've got that thought into it, and because of how you are, you've got such an edgy product and you're a very edgy person. It's one of these things where that the people you attract, I think like you're like the cool person on the block.
I don't know about that. I think it's just like the thing is, for me, is like there's always just, as I said, there's a direction to go in, and I don't deviate from that direction unless, like, I'm a PubMed guy, so I'll research everything to the hilt. And I'm a fucking nerd, and I have no problem, you know, as a teacher called me, she said, you're an educated thug.
Educated, okay.
So I kind of like that. I thought that's fitting. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the way it always been. Like, there's always like an ethos behind what I'm trying to do. It's like Pump to Fuck. Like, that has 10 grams of glycerol in there. Nobody had ever done it before. You know, it's like there was a couple of factors to kind of think with that. It has no L-citrulline in there, which was almost blasphemy, because that's what gives you pump. But what a lot of people don't seem to understand is sometimes converting that L-citrulline to L-arginine, some people get gastroenteritis or they get bloated from it, and it doesn't always work for everyone. But glycerol, it basically is osmolytic. It pulls water into the muscle. Now, if you can't pull water into muscle, you're basically dead. So it has to kind of work for everyone. So technically, if everybody's hydrated enough, takes the product the way they should all get a pump.
Yeah.
Now, several people have gone out and copied that since, but as you said, I was the first one to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and you know, I don't mind people copying stuff, but like, you should just, you know, give the person their flowers.
Yeah.
That's when I have a bit of an issue with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've bit my tongue sometimes about it, but like that annoys me because, you know, like you can always say like, I have no problem acknowledging someone like my heroes in the industry when they were there. I have no problem saying I took inspiration from this guy, and I've been lucky. I've been able to talk to my heroes, you know, both business people and people away from this industry, because the industry can be very like just blah sometimes. You know, there is a whole load of innovation because it's very, very hard to innovate in this country with stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because you're tied by certain things. So it's like there's not a massive amount of that there. So you have to think outside the box a little bit. You know what I mean? And like, would I say we're massively innovative? Or really, we're trying to just make things slightly better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like we all have the wheels, but we put different stickers on them. Do you know what I mean? And I'm trying to like do a little bit different with things and think of my own ethos. And if you ask me why I did this product, it's even like the protein flavors, for instance. When we were doing them, like a certain protein flavors I hate. I would never fucking drink that shit. I hate that flavor altogether. Like we did a carrot cake. I hated carrot cake, but I knew one of the lads loved it. So I was like, right, if we can get this right and he loves it, that's his favorite thing in the world. That has to be a banging flavor.
Yeah.
So every single flavor is basically made for a different person.
Okay.
And like, I think that's slightly different thinking rather than going, oh, yeah, it tastes like carrot. You could give me a carrot cake that could be 2 weeks old and I'd eat it and go, yeah, it's carrot cake. I don't fucking know. Do you know what I mean? No, is that what it's meant to taste like?
Yeah.
You know, and there's certain ones I made for myself. Like, well, look, I am privileged to have a manufacturer that heeds my bullshit and works alongside with me and is a mentor to me. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And I'd be lost without people like that.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not just me, like, and it's just I have these batshit crazy ideas sometimes, and sometimes I'm told shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And I need that too, like,
Of
because
course.
you know, there's products I've made that bring like 90 to 100 quid and they're just fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But like, that's when you kind of have to say, right, this is a business too, and you have to also look at it from that side. You know, it's even like sponsored athletes, for instance. Some of them are great and some of them are shit.
Yeah.
And sometimes you take one on in good faith and it's like, well, they do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
And you have to also look at it as business. If you're giving them X amount of products, 400 or 500 pound products every month, and they're doing absolutely nothing, it doesn't matter if they've 20, 30, 40,000 followers. If they don't see the value in your brand, why should you see the value in them?
Yes.
And and sometimes people get butthurt over that because they'll do a post online. Like, luckily it hasn't happened to me. I try never to burn bridges. Because I think one day I might need that person again, or they might need me.
Yeah.
And why would you do that? You know, as I said, like, I'm very kind of like, treat others how you want to be treated. It's kind of the ethos with everything I have. It's like that whole tagline, be the leader.
Yeah.
It's like, well, let's be like lead by example.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And hopefully people will follow you and then they'll become the leaders.
How were you as a kid growing up?
In what respect?
In every respect, because obviously I know from some of the stories that obviously we've spoken about, but how did you get into all of this? So like, you know, you've obviously done your school life, you know, you're over in Ireland, and then you're doing you know, you've done your boxing, you're into your powerlifting. How did this all come about? Because you can't go from just being a gym member to all of a sudden one day, okay, cool, I wanna own a gym. And I want to have one of the best supplement brands going.
Well, I don't know if I want to own a gym. Like, I was doing like a lot of security work and running doors and, you know, doing work at strip clubs and had people working for me and working for other people too as well. So kind of running security companies and stuff like that. So that's really kind of more so what I was doing. So, and I was a student at the time, so I was making good money. I was having a good time for myself. You know what I mean? I might have kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's knocked on the door. Yeah. But I enjoyed myself. You know what I mean? And I was a big proponent. I never really drank. That was one thing I never really did a lot of. It was just wasn't my thing. Because I'd kind of had the whole athletic kind of growing up, like, and stuff like that. And I think what I had started doing, I did some sports and recreation studies to kind of see, because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like, I had a decent, we call it leaving cert. So I had a lot of options, but I didn't really know. I liked sports.
Yeah.
I liked that whole training thing. And I was kind of like, well, I need to parlay this into something. And then I got the opportunity to do chem and pharma after that. And I went and took it. And I did a few years of that. And I didn't really like it either because I thought it was too formulaic. I didn't like the industry that it was going down because it teaches you how to, I guess, study, but it's almost like a regurgitation aspect of where you just learn stuff from the page and then you write out, and some of it you probably don't even understand. But the good thing is I met a lot of people through that. They sent me away on work experience, and I find out if I wanted to go down that route or not. I found out I didn't, because I didn't really like the whole pharmacological aspect of things. I thought, well, holy shit, this is such a ruthless business. You know what I mean? And I thought, well, you're making stuff to make sure that they're on this, and this. I just thought, oh, this isn't really where I want to be at. And at the time, obviously, I was using supplements all the time and was working kind of like important stuff and had a little side hustle, I suppose, going doing that. And I was running a kind of, I suppose, a higher end PT studio.
Yeah.
Taking on higher end clients, like really business people. They were mainly into doing triathlons for some weird reason. So I kind of got it down a different, I guess, a different kind of path with that stuff, rather than I was still doing the powerlifting, still winning stuff, doing bodybuilding, doing good at that too. But I liked having being diversified in things where it's like, I don't want to talk about bodybuilding all day. I find it tremendously boring after 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean? Because there's not much you can really talk about.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And when you're surrounding yourself with these high-end business people, you kind of see the way that they move.
Yeah.
And because they want you as part of their circle, they're educating. You're getting an education. So that was, I guess, my second education around 21, 22. Seeing how these guys moved, seeing how they made money. And I was like, well, they all did stuff they liked doing. They never did stuff because they had to. They did it because they wanted to. And that was one thing I was like, and one of them said to me, turn your passion into a lifestyle. If you could do that, and he said, you are doing that and you're very successful, but you have a ceiling because you can only have X amount of clients a day. And this is the way it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, yeah, he's right. And then at about 22, 23, I started making my own supplements, formulating them, doing stuff on stuff I had seen from other American companies, because I thought what was happening with American companies, I would bring them in, make the brand popular, and then they would just sell to everyone. Because you could just email them, they send over pallets of stuff to you.
You were making it for them?
No. What it was I was importing them from the States.
Oh, okay.
And kind of getting my education that way on ingredients, everything else, figuring out what worked, what didn't work. And so like, say I made a pre-workout popular in the area.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, the shops that were buying off me would directly contact them.
Okay,
and then I had no business. So I was like, well, this is stupid.
Yeah.
This is dumb. Like, what am I doing? So I was like, I then asked, could I like sign contracts where I would have sole distribution? And they didn't want to do that, because they knew I was doing enough work for them that, like, I know for a fact, two of the companies said 20x their brand in Ireland, just because I had a little van. I was going around in between like days I'd have off from the PT, and like, don't get me wrong, I was always making money, so I didn't really mind. But I just thought, oh, this is stupid. This is diminishing returns. So I did that for a while, and then I was like, look, fuck, I'm just going to make my own. So I started doing that. I met a guy over in Ireland, used to work for Twin Lab, and started doing bits and pieces.
Okay.
Then I was doing a lot of stuff for bodybuilding.com, became bodybuilder of the month, and then I was a finalist for bodybuilding of the year, whatever else it was. And then I kind of met Cellucor, and then
Met who, sorry?
Cellucor.
Okay.
And kind of went down that route with them, kind of just distributing for Ireland. Then they said, could we do some Europe work? And I was like, great. So they kind of gave us kind of free reign. And at the time, C4 hadn't been released.
Yeah.
So it was, we were chatting forth and back about, hopefully getting something like that done, because at the time, Jack 3D had blown up, and I was like, look, we need an ultra concentrate. Like, their products, like, and that was, I suppose, an education where I learned from them. They had formulas that were really, really, innovative, and they were, thinking outside the box with stuff. So you kind of like looked at it from that perspective. And then obviously they gave me free reins, and then I moved over here after I kind of stopped bodybuilding at that stage. I was 28, 29, gone as far as I'd gone, won a lot of stuff, but wasn't going to get a pro card, even though I thought I should have once, but neither here nor there, but irrelevant to that. Well, I thought twice I should have, but anyways, but yeah, and then I kind of just took the wings with that. And then eventually they kind of wanted to go down a different route with it, where they wanted to like put it in one massive distributor for Europe and one massive distributor here, and kind of said, look, you can still stay on or whatever. I was like, cool, yeah. And then it kind of changed up. It kept changing up. And I was like, look, I need to make a living here. Like, I'm living in London. I have a pretty expensive lifestyle. I had made a really, really bad investment and lost almost everything. And it was quite a chunk of money. I was like, I'm fucked. So I kind of eventually had to move out of there and then kind of start again. And I worked with American companies for a bit of a while, you know, formulating stuff for them. But again, it was very wishy-washy. It was like you'd be promised a lot of stuff and nothing came. Like one of the companies sold a company for 60 million. I was guaranteed a percentage of that. I got nothing because word of mouth isn't worth the paper it's printed on.
Yeah.
And like that's a hard education. But at the end of the day, look, I deserved it. I should have been more pertinent. I should have been more on it. And that's the way it is. And then just kind of started getting into the gym culture more and deciding what do I actually want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, then started kind of formulating what I want to do with a brand, what I would want, what would work here in the UK, and then just took it from there. And that's kind of where it started.
And that was the birth of Alpha Neon.
Yeah, it was the infancy of like it was
Yeah.
actually drawn on a piece of paper what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of held that piece of paper for a while until I eventually decided, right, I need to take this to the moon and back and see what we can do. And obviously there was a few lapses along those way because it was like I set up Alpha Neon, I guess like eight years ago properly, but about 700 quid.
Yeah.
You know, and hedged my bets. And again, luckily my manufacturer, he never would have done that for anyone, but I just managed to kind of talk enough of shit that he believed in it. And I probably believed in it enough myself.
Yeah. Well, you would have had to convince him.
Yeah. I fully believed I backed myself. But I was just like, look, I haven't really pot the piss in, mate. This is just money I have there. There's like 700-800 quid. I have enough to put that to you, and then I can get the tubs and everything else. Can we do something? And he's like, okay, what's your idea? And I was like, I have this idea. And he's like, okay. And I wanted to make a product that was, again, at the time, products had gone back to very much 20-30 grams per pre-workouts and stuff. And again, I just wanted to bring it back to old school, bring it back to that 5-6 gram, get a big enough kick in the ass that it would like do something where if you love stims, you loved it. If you didn't, you didn't. But I only had one shot at it. And I was like, and I had released the product before that, which again, I hadn't really gone full balls to the wall with it. It wasn't really thought out. So that's why I shelved it for a few years. And yeah, then I just said, fuck it. And then it just took off. And I was like, great. Now we can do other stuff.
Yeah.
And like I had a shop at the time. So I had an outlet that if it all fucked up, I could just fire sale a lot off. So it wasn't really that big of a risk.
Yeah.
And it was just like, luckily I had a lot of contacts from Cellucor that I could hit up and say, look, have this idea. Here's a free tub. Let me know what you think. And luckily most people liked it. And
amazing.
That was kind of the way that it was. And the reason it was like called Darkside, it was just like bringing out your dark side. Like, and you know, when you've been through, like it sounds, it was more like, you know, about like when you go to the gym, I utilize the gym to get rid of aggression, to get rid of pent up stuff. So I'd always use my dark side to go train. Okay. And that was the whole ideology behind it. It was nothing like.
That's amazing. That's actually pretty sick.
Yeah. So it was all about like, I have a switch.
Yeah.
I know my switch. When I want to do these things, I believe no one can beat me. Now, I'm sure there is, but at that, you know, it was the same belief system when I was in boxing, when I was in powerlifting. I had to back myself because.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't think there is. Like, as long as you're not absolutely delusional,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but when I'm, you know, even when I did some cage fighting, when you did all that stuff, you're standing across, it's just you and him, you know, and that's it. You know, and when I was on a door and, you know, certain things happened, I wasn't going to back down.
Yeah.
You know, like that was always my analogy. And luckily I didn't end up with any holes in me. And luckily I never got knocked down. So
I can't imagine you losing, Adrian. I can't imagine.
Yeah, but there is some tough people out there nowadays. You know what I mean? A lot of people are trained nowadays, and I think people
not just in fighting. I think just in general in life. I don't think you're a quitter.
No. Definitely not a quitter.
I think you might fall down, but you're getting up very fast.
Yeah, like it was even like, I guess the best analogy I have for it is one guy said, "You know who I am." I said, "I know exactly."
Yeah.
And I said, "But there's one thing I will say, mate. I may lose this fight because we were out in the street. I didn't think I would, but I said I may lose this fight to you. But remember this one thing, mate. If I get near your face, your nose is going to go missing. When you wake up every fucking morning, you look in that mirror, you're going to have no fucking nose. Think about that. You might put me in a hospital, you might put me in a grave. But remember, you'll have no fucking nose. Because if I get these teeth on, you're fucked." And he just fist pounded me and walked away. And that was that. And I was like, fair enough, that saved me a lot of hassle. Because in my own head, I was like, fucking hell, this would have been a war. Like, I know this is gonna hurt. Like,
that's amazing, because what you basically done there, you just put doubt in his head.
Oh yeah, that's all I did.
So because you're so like you're cocksure, you know.
Well, I knew like if that had happened, like I knew, well, I'd just tear his ear off or
Yeah.
something. Like for me, what it is as bad as it sounds, and it's like, it's kill or be killed.
Yeah.
That Nate Diaz thing is kill or be killed. When
Yeah.
you're on the street with me, mate, I'm that's it. I don't give a fuck. If it's in the ring, that's fine. I'll follow the rules as best I can.
Yeah.
I might do a couple of, maybe throwing out nut every now and again. But like, that's just my mentality. Because like at the end of the day, when I'm in a ring with them, I have nothing against them.
Yeah.
So I have to, like, in my own head, I used to build scenarios as a kid,
Yeah.
like, oh, he said this, I gotta get this guy, like, because I'm like walking in a ring, I'm about to piss my fucking pants because half of me's worried, the other half of me's like, but as an adult, like, I got none of that. I'd have no adrenaline, no nothing.
Yeah.
And like, we thought it was fun.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if people stayed back and want to go out the back and have a scrap, what does it sound? Fuck, I'll just wrap my hands.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it sounds Neanderthalish now, and I look back and cringe a little bit with stuff, but I kind of just thought to myself, well, look, it's me against me. And
Yeah.
it's like, this other guy is like, it's not, like, I'd rather not fight them sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially that guy. Because I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, fuck, this is going to be a war.
gonna
I still
hurt.
think I'm going to win,
It's
but
gonna hurt.
I'm going to wake up like the Elephant Man tomorrow because I knew he was a decent scrapper. He's a good boxer and he's good at kickboxing. So I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. But I was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Like, we're in now. I can't back down now. I look like a bitch. And like, I think sometimes with life, you just kind of have to go all in. And if you can't go all in on yourself and take risks, like, how are you going to ever get anywhere?
Yeah.
Do
you still see people from your past now? Like, for example, like the teacher that called you a smart thug, a clever thug?
Educated thug.
Educated thug.
No, I haven't seen her in years. She was actually a nun.
She's actually no.
Nun. Yeah, because I went to a convent.
Yeah. Oh, okay. But do you still see people like from your past now that, for example, you've had them issues with, and all of a sudden you're like, obviously you'll be normal. I know you'll be normal, but like they'll look at you and think, okay, he was an absolute cannon here. The guy was an absolute cannon, but he's made something of himself.
I don't really know, mate. I think you'd have to ask them. Like, don't get me wrong. I am very affable to people. Like, I don't hold a grudge, really. Well, that's a lie. There's a few people I definitely hold a grudge against, and I definitely.
Do you know what? I don't know. I can't imagine it though. I can imagine if you got a problem with someone.
If I have a problem,
but I think like
if it's not resolved,
you're very easygoing.
Yeah. I think it's because like I'm kind of like confident in who I am to a certain degree, and I just couldn't really give that much of a fuck about people's opinion because, like, when I was younger, I was doing sports that were considered lone sports. Like, I did Shotokan karate as a kid. Then I did boxing. Like, then it was power. Like, I hated team sports.
Oh, okay.
So I would just kind of do my own thing. Like, I would read comic books. I would study stuff. Like, I had really bad ADHD. So, like, running around a football pitch, I had friends. Like, I wasn't some loner. I had friends, but I just didn't really care.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, if they were going up the field and I missed them, I'm like, nah, who cares? I'll go back and read my comic books and I'll go for a jog.
Yeah.
Do you know, that'd be my mentality. Or I'll get my surfboard and go try to surf. I was the most brutal surfer ever, but a lot of my friends ended up being pro surfers. So, like, I would just do that. Or I'd take my dog and go swimming with him. Like, I just didn't care. Like, and I think once you kind of have that, like, you're happy in your own world and your own entertainment factor. Like, me and my brother, like, when we were kids, like, we were obsessed with wrestling and UFC.
Yeah.
That was our thing. Like, we loved it. And like Rambo and Chuck Norris and all that shit. Like, they were our heroes. So like, we would like get dollars. Like, we'd go into save our money up, get dollars, like, for like 4 or 5 months and go to the martial arts magazine that you could buy, snip it out, fill it in, and send off for these videos. Like, and the good thing is to our parents, they didn't really give a shit. Like, they were like, watch what you want. They didn't really care. Like, not in a bad way. Like, my dad would be watching it with us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so it was never like, it wasn't like they were watching us like fucking porn or some shit, but it was all like, uber like Rambo, like my dad and we would all sit down on a Sunday and watch Rocky or Rambo or some shit.
But so we always say this. How many of the younger lot now have seen Rocky? None of them.
Yeah.
They don't ever watch the underdog story.
No.
It's mad. Like the Rocky, Rambo, things like Top Gun. Like, people just don't watch them. Karate Kid, for example. Like, people just don't watch them.
Yeah.
They're absolute classics. And I know it's so silly because they're so old school, but there's genuine lessons in all of them.
Yeah.
So, do you ever watch David Goggins?
Yeah, he sometimes gets a bit on my nerves recently.
But
at the start,
he's very much like that Rocky mentality. Yeah. It's like Rocky round 14. That's all he listens to in his head, and he just got that in his mindset. I think people need more of that. Like, I say to kids here, before like you want to do anything, go watch Rocky. Before you go watch all of the Rockies, even watch Rocky 5 is shit, but still watch it. And then have a chat. It's different because you learn so much from them.
Yeah, I was a big believer in like music. So what I would do is if I had Like back then, you had the Sony Shockwave.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you
Yeah, I
that?
used to sell them.
Yeah,
I used to sell them.
fire. So I remember I had the cassette player at
Yeah.
the start, and then you twist it in, and
The Walkman, yeah.
yeah. I had that, and you could buy those belts for them. So I remember I used to train with that on, and then obviously I graduated to the CD when I got more money. But like mine was all about like whenever I did my best set or had my best workout, I would then replay that CD over and over and over again, and it would put me back to that mindset.
100.
So it was like that was all like, and I love like death metal, deathcore, like, so I listen to the heavy shit, like, and that even in my gym I still do. Like, I don't really, if I'm in the gym, you've got something heavy going on. Like, the way I equate it's like lifting heavy metal, like, and then I'll go home and I'll sometimes listen to classical music, or I listen, I like Brahms, I like Liszt, I dated a girl who used to be a ballerina, ex-ballerina, so I got into it more with her. One of my exes was a pianist, so, and my brother's a musician as well, so like I was surrounded, and my parents were DJs when we were kids, so they would play like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, like, my dad was obsessed with Neil Diamond, used to sing all the songs. So, you know what I mean? Like, it was very like, I had a very kind of joyous childhood.
Yeah.
Like we all got picked on, we all got the shit kicked out of us, all that type of stuff, as you do. And it kind of is just part of life. But I mean, I was never had, if I look back at my childhood and think, yeah, that's great. Like, is there people there that I disliked? Yeah, there was, of course. But I mean, I never really had that much, interactions with them. If there's 10 of them hassling me, I just be like, whatever, I'll get you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I would, like, some of them, like, I was like, if I saw them outside a club, like, I started doing door work at 17, and I was a head doorman by 17. So I was able to handle myself. I was a tough kid. Like, but I was very matter of fact. Like, I was never mean. I would never bully anyone. I was never that. Like, I just didn't like it. Like, I didn't like that mentality. I always wanted to be kind to people.
Yeah.
But like, there's always that switch. And I think that's what drives you a lot of the time. And that's why, like, even people I don't necessarily like brands or whatever, what they do or how they, not even the brands, just the way they hold themselves, or they might have been chatty one time and then just completely ignored you. And you're just like, that about, man.
Yeah.
You were asking me for my health 3 weeks ago.
Be consistent. Yeah.
Be consistent, or just leave me the fuck alone. And I get a bit perplexed by that. But for the most part, it's just, I think my superpower is always just not giving a fuck. And it's just like, just follow your own path. Because if you do something you love, eventually people will cling on to it. Like, and I know, like, to a certain degree, like, people, like, I've always been a big believer. If nobody's talking about you, even if they're talking bad about you, as long as they're talking about you to a certain degrry, if they're talking bad about you, you're getting on their nerves for some reason. And even if they're more successful, I've had it before, and I'm like, why would that guy even be bothered? Like, I don't even recognize that guy. I don't even know him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'll always be like affable to people, but the majority of the time, I can't. I hate bitchiness. Like, if you're not going to say something to my face, don't say it behind my back. Have that same energy. Because, like, I if someone comes up and goes, I think you're a fucking cunt, I'm like, thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate your honesty.
But you'd probably respect him more, wouldn't you?
Massively.
Yeah.
Massively. I remember, like, at the show, like, I was walking around and this guy see me with an Alpha t-shirt on. He goes, oh, what do you think of that brand? And I thought he was taking the piss. Because you meet a lot of people at those shows. And I go, oh, yeah, I really like it. Yeah, it's cool. He goes, yeah, but he said, have you met the owner? And I said, oh, briefly. And it's just, I literally was like, oh, is this like a sketch? I was like, this Jeremy Beadle or some shit. And because, yeah, but he's a bit of an arrogant dick, isn't he?
Yeah.
What is he, like, American or Irish or some shit like that? And I was like, bit of a difference, mate. But yeah. And he kept talking. And then he said he'd been to my gym.
Okay.
So, like, on my phone, obviously, I can tell who's in my gym. And I was like, oh, what's your name? Blah, blah, blah. I've never been in my gym. I just knew this all bullshit. So by the time the conversation ended, it was walk to the food hall bit. I said, just to let you know, I'm the owner of it.
Oh, yeah, my name's Adrian.
I've never spoke to you in my life because you've never been to my gym. I have, because he bitched about being in my gym and said I was arrogant, hadn't spoke to him, hadn't anything. So if you're in my gym, you got in with you either got through the door without paying him in, which is sneaky, but that's fine. You could have done it. But your name is in my phone. I said, I've never met you before and I am the owner. I said, I literally thought you were taking the piss. Now, I know he's part of a company who obviously had badmouthed me. And I said, you've got all this second. I said, well, I'll tell you what. If you ever want to come down my gym. We can train together. I'm the least, I try and be the least arrogant person ever. And I said, if I was ever off that day, it was an off day. But I said, I try and treat everyone with respect. So you're just lying and talking shit. You've never met me before. And then about 2 hours later, he comes over. He goes, oh, sorry about that. I just had heard some things. And I go, off who? Oh, I can't really say that. And I was like, well, if you tell me, I'll go talk to them now. And he said, no, it's all good. It's all good. And I just couldn't wrap my head around any of it.
it's phenomenal how
Do you know what I
people
mean? And
spread.
it sounds like a fake fucking story, but my
No, it
girlfriend
doesn't.
was there, and that's the weird. Like when I told it in my own, when I said it to one of the lads, I was like, I know that sounds fake, mate,
Yeah.
but that actually fucking happened.
It doesn't sound fake. We've had this happen, and I've personally had it happen so many times. So many times. It's absolutely unreal how people can just like that guy there, he's gone off what someone else has said,
100%.
and now it's gospel.
Yeah.
It's gospel. Adrian's a wanker. Amar's an absolute wanker.
Yeah.
I always
Well, I
think
am a wanker. I'll fully admit it, but I try to be a nice wanker.
so this is what I say. I am as well.
Yeah.
But like you're human.
Mm,
You're human. You're gonna make mistakes as much as the next person.
100%.
But the thing is with you're gonna learn a lot quicker than that next person.
Yeah.
And because they can't understand it, they're gonna hate you even more.
Yeah.
And you're gonna be a bit more successful. Then you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna hate you even more. So whatever hate they got in their soul over you, that's just gonna grow. But they're never gonna give you the chance. But because you're very much like me, you're way more outspoken than me. But like I really don't care. Like I know me. My friends know me. My family know me. My people know me. You don't know me for a reason.
Yeah. Well, like since I've met you, you've been nothing but kind to me.
But then and same.
Do you know what I mean?
So like the local gym owners in Carv, they absolutely hate me. Barring one of them, they all absolutely hate me. And by two of them, to be fair. And I find it hilarious because I've got no issue with them. We genuinely don't care about what they do. And I say this has nothing to do with this podcast, but I find it hilarious because I'm literally rent free in your head all the time.
Yeah.
So same way like you're saying, like with that guy that's come up to you and said it, he's purely just looked at you, hadn't got a clue about you, seen your t-shirt, this guy's a wanker, and will absolutely slate you without even knowing you. It's unreal how people will do stuff like that. It's just gossip, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just thought
you're smart for the gossip.
Yeah, well, I kind of found it hilarious because I thought I just thought, fucking hell, mate, like you're lucky I don't slap the shit out of you. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm lining up your jaw here, and the old part of me is just punch this fucking fool, throw him because I literally remember because we were going by an exit door, and I was like, I can crack this cunt, drive him out through the fucking thing, and choke him out.
Yeah.
And that was my mentality. And I was like, what are you doing here? This is psychotic. Like, get these fucking thoughts out of your head. I was like, this guy's just a muppet. Just shut this down. At the end, you can have the last laugh because we're nearing the end of this hall.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, like what do I like? And it's like, because I have the little devil and the angel like in me all the time, and we always fighting those things because I think we're always attracted to darker stuff, and you have to. And I'm
the dark side.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, like and you are like, and that can permeate a lot of things and become very, very toxic. Like for me, like I guess I found more religion as I've got older. Not organized religion because I think that's a load of shit, but I mean just believing in God, being thankful, praying.
Spirituality.
Yes, exactly, and just again taking those lessons and being kind to other people. Like I think organized religion has a lot to do with money. And coveting things, and you don't really see beyond the veil. Like even though I've been to Vatican City, one of the most amazing places I've ever seen, but then you look at it and go, the opulence is fucking crazy. And obviously, look, I was born as a Catholic and stuff like that, but I mean, I don't want to sit there and be preached to.
Yeah.
I want to be educated.
Yeah.
And the way you educate yourself is by talking to other people.
Simple.
And not judging people.
Not being spoken down to.
No, and yeah, exactly. Like you have your beliefs, and like I recently met a Satanist.
Yeah.
And we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
But it's not for me.
Yeah.
That's not my way.
Yeah.
And I think, that stuff can be very detrimental to you. But I can still respect the person because
of course.
Lovely human being.
Yeah.
Very kind, very considerate, loved animal. So I'm like, cool. We can have this conversation, have this dialogue, and educate yourself on things. You don't have to believe in it.
Yeah.
But you can respect it and say, well, that's your belief system. If
Yeah.
that makes you a better human and you're not hurting anyone else, cool. If you are, then get the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think it's like, people have to understand that, like, people have different belief systems for different ways. They've experienced things in their lives that push them in this direction and that direction. And like, as I said, like, it's not about, fearing things. It's about trying to educate yourself and understand what people want, because there is always an aspect, like you said, there's jealousy there why people, covet what they have or want to put you down. But like, I'm never going to waste that energy. Like I heard something recently and I was just like laughed about it. I was like, really? I was like, fuck, I don't even think of that person. Well, cool. Do you know what I mean? Cool. I must be doing something right. But the problem is then if they're going around to shops and bad man, you're saying, oh, his brand is shit. He's a wanker. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He's full of shit. And you're just like, am I?
Yeah. It's judgment, isn't it? You're not interested in judging people.
No, dude, I couldn't give it. Dude, like, because you know yourself, we have gyms here and there's so many people here that like are here for completely different reasons.
Yeah.
Could be cosmetic. They could have had a really hard upbringing. They could, you know, and I am not your God and I am not your mother. And that's the only two people I think can judge you. That's my honest opinion on it. And it's like, if I turn around and my mother goes to me, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
That means the world to me.
Yeah.
When my father said, God rest his soul, said it to me, that's when I know I've done okay.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, you know, as long as I can put a roof over my head, take care of my missus, take care of my dogs, take care of the people that are around me, and take care, like, and I know for a fact that in that gym, a lot of people now work from home, and I think that's massively, massively awful because I might be the only person they talk to every day. So when I go around the gym, go, hey mate, how are you?
Yeah.
I don't even know some of their names.
Yeah.
I'll be fully. Sometimes I'm looking at my phone, looking at their face, going, you know, when they click it, and I'll be like, hey, how are you today? You okay? Good to see you.
Yeah.
And like, you know, some of them sit there, have a conversation, other people just nod and smile. But I might be the only person that, and I'm not saying, oh, I'm some fucking messiah, but I might be the only person that acknowledged their existence that day.
Absolutely.
Do you know? And like, I seen a lot of people during COVID, like, you know, some of my friends committed suicides and things like that. And because I keep in touch with a lot of my friends in Ireland, like, my best friend lives in Ireland. I was best man at his wedding. I fucking love that guy. He's like blood to me. And I've got to go back and see him soon, anyways. But like, we've been through some fucking wars together. Like, he worked on one of the doors with me, and yeah, we've seen some fucked up shit together. So like, that guy, we're bonded for fucking life, mate. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. And you know, he was a high level boxer from the UK and actually moved over to Ireland. And you know, I just love that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, you're bonded with certain people for a reason. And like, the thing is, like, as I said, if you, that one person during that day might never have spoken to anyone. They're either on Zoom calls or they're just emailing. And like, I've seen it before, like after the people that, you know, during COVID went down, you know, in your own head, you're like, shit, should I just call that person?
Yeah.
Should I have just, because like, for me, like, I didn't hate any of that COVID shit. I just went off and did shit. Like, it cost me a fucking fortune because of the business I had tanked. You know, I lost my whole during it, but I just went off and lived my life because I was like, I know the way these work, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, you can have your perspective on it, and if you don't want to hang out with me or you don't want to talk to me,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
But and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. I'm not going to stand there and chastise someone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm like, dude, if you don't want to go to the supermarket, cool. If you want to wait at home with a mask on, you cool.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
The importance of human interaction is massive. A
Massive.
gym owner, that's one thing we 100% do here is that, again, we're not great with the names either. So it's a yes, bro, yes, bro, yes, bro. But just having that few minutes with a person, it adds to the environment. Obviously, there's downsides to it as well, but it adds to the environment, and you don't know what impact you're going to have on that person's day. So, like, and again, it's not that you're seen as a peer figure, but you're the gym owner.
Gotta lead by example, man.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
So that is massive. What's that last few questions for
Yeah,
you?
sure.
What's next for Alpha Neon?
Just kind of expanding, like, you know, getting more into the clothing side of it is a big one for us.
Yeah.
Because that was massively popular at the Arnold. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't, because sometimes, like, you get a bit disillusioned where you're like, what the fuck am I actually doing? Am I having an impact? Do people know who the fuck we are? And after that, I was like, oh no, we do. You know, we are actually, because you know, the problem is sometimes I go around to shops and they'll have some of our products there, and I'm like, well, why don't they have all of the range? Like, how can we make that happen? You know, and stuff like that. And then you hear nothing from them, and you're like, fuck, I just wasted 4 hours traveling to you.
Yeah.
And I'll then try and touch base a couple of times, going, what is the reason you haven't taken this on board? And I get nothing back.
Yeah.
Because if it's something where we're missing something in the brand, or we're missing something, like, because I'm a big believer in, I live in the picture. So
Yeah.
I live in this picture. I can't really take a step back and look at it. You probably could, and vice versa. If you said, what do you think of this, Adrian? Have you thought about this? Because you mightn't see the little intricacies, and you always have to be open to that, especially with people you respect. And that's all I ever want is feedback from that. So like, that Arnold gave me a lot of feedback in a direction to go in. Do you know, whereas before I was kind of like, how do I do this? I was being a bit hesitant for the first time in a while, because we're an okay size company, but I want to be a lot bigger, and I want to do a lot more stuff. Like, we're looking at more international stuff as well, and I have some plans for that as well. I was doing some work. I flew over to a couple of places and talked to some people. So expanding is really where we're at with it, and making the gym better. You know, getting a lot more videography work done. That was something I kind of pulled back a lot from.
Yeah. The social media is big, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm a big believer in, like, my private life is my private life.
Yeah.
You don't need to know any of that. You don't need to know the car I drive. You don't need to know the people I hang out with. You don't need to know any of that, because I really don't give a shit. Like, most of the time I'm driving my missus is up. Do you know what I mean? Like I have 7 or 8 cars. Like not that all of them are great, some of them are bangers, but like I'm just a hoarder of things. You know what I mean? Like I'll try and fix them, and like I'll be like, oh, I can lift the engine out. I'm a fucking idiot like that. Because I'm fascinated how things work.
Yeah.
And the worst thing is sometimes I'll pull it apart and just leave it there and go, oh, that's fucked. Do you know what I mean? I'll be like, oh, fuck. And my missus is like, because she's like, I'm ADHD'd off my fucking tits and she's autistic as fuck.
Yeah.
So the good thing is that she keeps me very level-headed. But then...
You said that every time I've spoken to you.
Yeah. Without her, I'd be lost. Like,
Yeah.
Because I'm a fucking idiot. Like, I'm like, yeah, just all in, man. Fuck it. Like, let's let it roll.
All on red.
Yeah,
all on red. Yeah.
fuck, just go on, And then if it didn't work, I'm like, fuck. Where she'd be like, what the fuck are you know what I mean? I'm like, no. And like, so a lot of time, she keeps me in check with it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I think you need the yin and the yang. But the issue is, she's not always the best with people.
Yeah.
If you walked in and went, hey, how's it going, Lisa? She'd be like,
yeah.
Going?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she sees nothing wrong with that. I'm like, babe, first one of conversation have to be better. I'm like, just go say hello. Why?
Yeah.
I said hello. Do you know?
I know.
So, and I think that's, probably making her better at that. But she's amazing, mate. Like she does a lot of the, like, all of these batshit crazy ideas and she'll put them into fruition.
Yeah.
Especially with the clothing stuff. Like, because I'm big into streetwear. I've always liked fashion, and I'm always into that kind of side of it. Is like, how can we make really, really high quality clothes without ripping people off?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to like charge 600 quid for a t-shirt. Like I like, Casablanca, all that type of stuff. But I mean, how can we make something cool that people grab it? And not just gym wear. Like I don't want just our t-shirts just to be worn for gym wear. That they go, fuck, it's a cheap t-shirt, I'll put it on.
Yeah.
Like I want to make it a tiny bit more expensive than that. And it's like, we just had a collab with Gasp.
Yeah.
We just launched now our Chosen Few collab as well. I'll send you some t-shirts. So I make some an idiot. And it's just stuff like that makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Like Chosen Few is more of a lifestyle gym brand, not just a gym brand, Gasp, full on bodybuilding hardcore.
Yeah.
And, just trying to get into other avenues and things that were offered, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are going down different routes with stuff. And it's like, I've explored, 100 different routes and then figure out which one, I guess, signifies the brand, where we want to be at in a few years. And, not just piss money up against the wall just for the sake of it either, because that can be really, especially nowadays with the cost of everything, you can make one wrong turn with a product or with, investing all in something and you're kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And like, I want to be one of the bigger independent brands in the UK, and really kind of not push boundaries, because you're not really, it's just kind of get out there a bit more and do a lot more. I've been doing a lot more traveling. We're going to a lot more gyms every weekend. I have somewhere to be. And that was something I really kind of lost when I was kind of setting up the gym and kind of just like, oh, we're doing okay.
Yeah.
And I became inconsistent. And I think that's one thing about being around younger people nowadays. The guys that are focused, they're focused. And you can absorb that energy and be excited about it again, especially because,
it's like a little spark, isn't it?
Yeah.
Reignites what's inside.
Even training with them and stuff.
Yeah.
Like the good thing is I've always had the gift of being strong.
Yeah.
Like I can still bench press over 200 kilos.
Is it?
Oh yeah, I did that last week.
200 kg?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, look at you. For how many? Wow.
I reckon I could have got 3.
Look how calm this man is at that. 200 kg for 2?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. And my biggest bench ever was 235.
Jeez.
So I was pretty happy. Like I could have tore the shit out of my pec and it was probably completely...
Yeah. You wouldn't have cared because you would have had it on Instagram when you would have seen it. That's one full of memory.
I purposely didn't film it in case I dropped it. Don't fucking film it. I wish I did afterwards. Like the ego's in off.
Have you got the CCTV footage?
Yeah. But like I was like shit. Like because when I got Graves' disease, like that really knocked the shit out of me. Like I lost 10 kilos. It really, really fucked me up. Like and I it was the first time I ever doubted myself physically. Because I'd always been, I'm fucking strong. I can box. I can do this.
Yeah.
And it was.
You think you're invincible, don't you?
Yeah. Like I knew kind of like, look, there's people out there. There's probably a billion people out there who kick the fucking shit out of me. But I was always like, well, fuck, since I've been 13, 12, I've lost 5. I'm okay. Do you know what I mean? I'm good.
Yeah.
I
made it here. I made it here.
Yeah. And I've been through a lot. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And I've been confident in myself. But it was the first time when you're just like, you're eating 4,500 calories a day and you're losing 10 kilos.
Yeah.
You're like, what the fuck is going on with me? I didn't know for a while. I just thought I thought I'd actually just got some chest infection because my heart rate was so elevated. My heart rate was 140 beats a minute for like 3 weeks solid. And it was stupid because I just thought I need to, I was doing ice bath, I was doing everything because I didn't feel bad, but then I got hopped on the weighing scale. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is why shit is getting smaller. And I just had to go do something. Luckily, like, got some blood work done, and then off to the doctors and everything else. And I the good thing is with this side of things, I've learned to kind of, I'm probably on a third of the medication I'm on now. You know what I mean? Like, and their recommendation is, "Oh, wait on all of this." I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not doing. Like, this doesn't make me feel great, pal.
Yeah, because you'll be your own common sense and haven't you?
Yeah, like there's natural remedies for a lot of stuff. God has given us everything on this planet. We just need to find it.
Simple.
You know what I mean? And then if you go down certain routes, you figure it out. And if it makes sense. The good thing is, as I said, I'm a nerd. I could read PubMed shit all day. And the thing is, I educated myself and studied in days of libraries. So you had the internet, but it would take 20 hours to load up. Do you know what I mean? So just flicking a book was way easier.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you kind of, with that, like it's weird. I can retain stuff 20 years ago and regurgitate it to you. But ask me like stuff I read last week on my phone, not a clue.
Oh yeah,
Not a clue.
that's mine.
It's the Kindle. I have a Kindle, so when I read that, I can regurgitate that stuff. But it's just weird. It's just weird, and
It's just a bit of a gift, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I've gone back a lot more to writing stuff down, physically writing stuff, and I realized how shit of a writer I've now become. Like, it's like I'm like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? I look like a 3-year-old. Do you know? I'm like, Jesus Christ, no one could read this, only me. And it's embarrassing, but it's just because we get out of the habit.
Of course.
And like, I'm trying to it's like having the gym. Look, there's some new school stuff that's great, but old school stuff is great too. And if you can amalgamate the two of them, then you're on to a winning formula.
Simple.
And not be dismissive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the one thing I've learned with the younger generation. I think some of the stuff I'd be very like, what the fuck are they talking? These guys are fucking snowflakes. But then you realize they just don't have a direction to not be that.
Yeah.
And also, you don't want to turn them into muck savages where they're out like fucking with bayonets out slicing. You know what I mean? Like, you're like, fucking hell. There's the yin and the yang, man. Like, there's a happy medium. And like, as I said, most of the guys that we've, I think anyone, I suppose, not to sound fucking pathetic, but like taking under my wing a bit, they've all got promotions now.
Yeah.
They're all doing way better in life.
Yeah,
they're just smarter with the things to do. They drink less, they party less.
Yeah,
They're more invested in their intellect and into their physicality than they were ever before, but not in a disrespectful way.
Yeah.
Where it's like, oh, I'm just doing this because I want to beat the guys up the street. It's
Yeah,
lads, I'll teach you to fight, but only use it when you need to.
Yeah, I think that's the best thing about being a gym owner. And it's probably the most like satisfactory thing. You can imprint a bit of knowledge onto the younger generation. So you make it better for them. They won't know what you're doing, but once they know what you're doing with them, once they understand it, then they'll come to you for a bit of help. They're coming to someone with a bit of clout behind them. Yeah. They've got like respect. So you're a good person. So you're only going to give good advice,
Yeah, like I think that's what it is. Is like, as I said, I don't have any kids that I know of, so sounds bad. Probably. I just hope it's like some famous basketball player. I'm like, dude, I love you, son. Come on,
I know.
Come on. Yeah. But yeah, like I think it's just like, if I can give any of those, like, you just help one of those kids.
Yeah.
Then I think, oh, well, at least I've left something behind.
Simple, yeah,
you know
lovely.
I mean? And like, when they're all coming back and they've been members for such a long period of time, and you can hang out with them and stuff. Like, the problem is sometimes it feels like some of them you're giving favoritism to.
Yeah.
But like, the thing is, if they don't gravitate towards you, I'm not one of those people who's going to pull people in.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you want to sit there and talk to me about your life, and here's my 2 cents for like this, this is what's happened to me. This is my experience. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't, like, I've, especially when I was younger, I was a right asshole with women. I was a little dickhead. And I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah.
If you hold somebody's like heart, or hold somebody's like, you can cause them pain, don't do it. It gives you no gravitas. You end up regretting it, and you have an awful feeling about that. So remember, that's a very precious thing to hold. Even if you know it's not working out, be mature about it.
Yeah.
You don't have to be an asshole. You don't have to go and fucking dick 2 of her friends. You know what I mean? Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, I understand.
And I was a dickhead, like, because I was arrogant.
You're young.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Last question for you.
Brother.
If you could give yourself, your younger self, advice, what's that going to be?
Stop being a god.
Straight to the
I think what I probably would say is just work smarter, not hard.
Yeah.
I think that was I think what was instilled with me by my parents is they worked very hard. And sometimes that's not the smartest thing to do. Take a step back, and the things that you could have invested in, do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought, oh, that's a great idea. Because like I did, after I kind of finished the Chem and Pharma, I did anatomy and physiology and injury rehabilitation type work as well. And I never fully invested in it the way I should have. The opportunities that came from that, I didn't wholeheartedly take them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas you know, those bits where they were thinking about, oh, maybe you could do talks on this, talks on that. And sometimes when you're a busy fool, you know, and even now, like, you know what I mean? Probably when I was like 29, don't invest all that money in the housing deal because
Yeah,
you got your
yeah.
arse handy. But I mean, like, if that had came out, I would have had 7 or 8 million out. So
Yeah.
it's like the rough is worth the smooth.
Yeah.
And
And
that
if
was,
that didn't happen, you wouldn't know what you know today. You wouldn't have the lesson of that to know what you have today.
yeah, true. Like, but it was hard starting back again, you know, because it took a few years to get over that, and then
Yeah.
you're back to square one at
Yeah.
34, 35 again. You're like, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, to a degree. And I just try and just be nice to people. Like I was always a nice kid. Like if, especially certain doors I ran, like if a kid needed work and I knew he was a decent guy and I'd always try and help people out as much
Yeah.
as I could. Like I give you the shirt off my back, you know, when if I could, I just would. I didn't see any problem with it, and never give to receive.
Yeah.
You know, I think that was one thing that my parents taught me. Like, don't give someone this to get two of them back.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you won't.
Yeah.
You'd be very disappointed, and you probably found that too as well. You've
Absolutely.
taken probably some lads under your wing, and then all of a sudden, like you said, they're calling you a cunt, or like you said, they're that energy vampire thing. They're there to suck as much knowledge out of you, and then when they're full up with your knowledge, they're gone.
Gone, exactly. No loyalty.
They're either copying what you did or just being a sneaky dick, and then all of a sudden they're slating you, and you're like, "Well, where'd this come out of?"
Simple. It's mad,
You
isn't
know
it?
what I mean? Yeah, I find it fascinating because my brain doesn't have that logic.
Yeah.
Because I think if I helped you out, the first thing I'll do is, you know, that lad's really cool. He helped me out. Even if I didn't speak to him anymore, I'll give him his credit at the start. And I've done that several times. And people are like, really? But you don't really speak to him anymore. Yeah, but dude,
It's life.
when I was there, that guy helped me. He's gone on to do different things. So.
And not everyone's supposed to be in your life forever.
No.
If everyone's supposed to be in your life forever, imagine your party. You're gonna have
Jesus
a couple
Christ.
of thousand people. But bro, an absolute pleasure. Honestly,
Thank you for having me.
I could speak to you all day.
Likewise.
And I know we're gonna go out now and grab some food, but I always try and end this on like I always end them on a positive. But take all the gym stuff out of it. I find you fascinating. I find you fascinating because from the upbringing and obviously the stuff that I know about you to the way you do this, to the way you put yourself across, you are hand on heart one of the most giving people I've ever come across. I've been in a lot of industries, but from the very first order that I did with you for the gym to the second order that we did with you to however many other orders we're going to do with you, the way which your service was, the way which everybody, you just look out for everybody. You spoke to the people on the counter, you sent them free gifts. You don't need to do that. But that one obviously is a great business move because these guys now love you.
Yeah.
But you're not doing it like that.
No.
You're doing it because Atlantis upstairs gave you, like a little bit of love, and you're like, well, let me give you some love back.
Yeah, 100%.
Or the lad that used to work here gave you a little bit of love, and again, like you sent him some free supplements. The way in which you carry yourself as a gym owner, as an individual, honestly, is an example for me, man. Genuinely, I appreciate the heck out of you. Again, thank you, love. Thank you for taking your time, man.